What's up, guys? Another episode of Let's Argue. We're getting this going and rolling. We got a little bit of a different setup. Got a new table.
Yeah.
Cleaner to look.
Trying to get some audio software going. Not really working, but you know what? We're back.
Yeah, we got to mess with some settings, and we're going to have a different mic setup in the near future. We're also going to go ahead and we have we're finishing up our merch. That should be done next week. We should have it all set up, and we should have shirts coming out after next week. We have a logo that we're pretty set on. We'll have our own site and all of that greatness.
Coming very soon.
We don't know if we're going to keep the site permanently, but we definitely are going to make a site for you guys to be able to go and get you some merch. And as you can see, the room looks a little different.
It's different.
Different a little bit. We're changing things up. We got some blackout in here so we don't get sunlight hitting us. All that jazz. And right now, all the morning/afternoon games are currently in progress. All in the third quarter, going into the fourth. Cowboys, for whatever reason, are struggle bussing their way through their game. I don't know what happened.
It's the biggest thing with teams that are, with one win. You can't go into it thinking that you're going to win it. It could be like a bye week. You just never know. These teams that are already said to be a win, they could come out and shock you, much like Jacksonville Jaguars right now. They are 20-14. They've already got an interception. They ran down the field. Another one, much like the Lions and Vikings. Vikings are arguably one of the best teams in the NFC, and the Lions definitely have won their last 5. In a row. But the Lions are stepping up. Oh,
100%. Lions were the favorite in this game.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I did not know that.
By a 6-point spread.
Yeah, and it's showing. Lions defense are playing great against Kirk Cousins. It's already 4th and 1 on the 34, Minnesota. It's pretty interesting to see the Lions, from last year, what they've went through. I want to say last year they had like a 2-14 season.
Yeah, they were terrible last year. Like 3 wins, I think, altogether.
Yeah.
Like they won their very last game.
And to switch that back and be 5-7 going against the Vikings, and you're winning in the third quarter right now. It's pretty spectacular.
And it's also I would say the media and the analysts were actually right on this one. I think the Lions are a lot better than what their record is showing.
And what they seem.
I think that defense is a little bit better than what they got credit for. I think they had a rough start to their season due to injuries. They got a couple guys back in this past couple weeks, and they have the ball back again. All right.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, the Lions, after this game, this would be a big divisional win for the Lions. And Jared Goff is looking better and better every single week. And just to hear him last week over their win last week was pretty awesome, just to hear him say, like, there was a lot of guys from last year's team that's on this year's team, and to see them playing, it just shows what Campbell's doing in the locker room and in the practice field and on the game.
And I would say the Rams are punching the air currently, but the thing is the Rams did get a ring out of the swap. So you could say it's a win-win for them.
Yeah.
They're getting the bad taste in their mouth now. It only lasted a year. And they pulled through against the Raiders on Thursday Night Football, but it was because of Baker Mayfield, not because of Matthew Stafford. And they were lucky to even get a quarterback that I would say that good. I'm not saying
so
Baker
quickly.
Mayfield is like the greatest of all greats, but like to have a quarterback just hit the market like that in the middle of the season is kind of odd.
After Stafford goes down. But you know what? I'm going to argue this. They are the worst Super Bowl team
I think
in our generation, 100%,
I think Bengals
to come back.
The Bengals definitely kind of slipped up, had some mistakes in their game because the Bengals had that. game.
They did, but what I'm saying, Rams this year, they are the worst Super Bowl team to come back, have a losing season, have their quarterback go down. And Matthew Stafford, I'm going to say it, Matthew Stafford is probably the worst quarterback in all of the NFL. He is too systematic, and he has literally put anyone in the Rams organization last year, they won a Super Bowl no matter what.
Yeah, because they were so stacked top bottom. Cam Akers was a different Cam Akers.
Do you agree that Matthew Stafford is just a systematic quarterback? There's nothing special about him?
I think he's a gunslinger.
Well, it's a given to have an arm as a quarterback, but I think he's an absolute systematic quarterback.
I think with the way McVay set up that offense and it worked in Stafford's favor is he set up that offense to have receivers that can run the deep ball to where they're so open, all he has to do is throw it.
Yeah, and not only that, to have OBJ as in the slot was perfect.
Doesn't matter if Aaron Donald is playing. Without Cooper Kupp, that offense is terrible.
Yeah.
It's an average offense. They don't do that great. They barely slipped by a mediocre Raiders team this year, which the Raiders had to be honest, the Raiders were kind of on their necks the whole game.
Yeah.
The Raiders were doing very well. Their defense was holding up very well. But just Derek Carr, I don't know why, but I have a feeling he's not going to be there much longer.
He's just not putting up. That's kind of a talk with the whole Raiders organization. There's going to be some changes after this year for sure.
Because they already had talks last year, and they went 10-6 or 10-7 last year with Derek Carr, with
an interim head coach.
An interim head coach where Josh McDaniel, I don't think he has a grip on that team at all.
No, and it's really interesting to see what the Raiders do. He game plans
the first half very well.
Well, it just seems like Raiders, no matter what they're doing, they just fall short, and by fall, they
fall on their face. So they're a great first half team. Their game plan is excellent, but what they don't do is they don't have a game plan for when the team makes adjustments. They're like, hey, if they change their package,
it just seems like there's none.
Yeah, they just keep whatever they got from the first half and just carry on what they did in the first half into the second half. And obviously teams got some time in halftime to adjust some things.
Yeah.
Run different packages and stuff, and they don't adjust to it at all.
Right.
They don't have a 2-minute drill set like defensive scheme. They don't have an offensive scheme to run down the field quickly. If it's not Josh Jacobs saving the day or Devontae Adams snagging a terrible behind the back fucking one-hander, they just don't do anything.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, moving on, let's go to the Jets and Bills. This is one of the most anticipated games this Sunday, but right next to Kansas City and the Broncos. But Jets and Bills, this is a divisional game. Bills have struggled against divisional opponents this entire season. Jets have excelled. We were actually watching a few minutes of the game, and Jets' defense has been a huge talk this year.
Yes.
With Sauce Gardner, their D-line getting to Josh Allen. Josh Allen making absolutely insane.
I think the Jets may have discovered that Zach Wilson may or may not be the guy anymore for the foreseeable future.
And we didn't get to talk about that last weekend, but Zach Wilson had come out, after a terrible loss and 3 points against New England Patriots the entire game, and for him to come out and say, you know what, wasn't me. I don't think I did everything I could. My defense failed me. For Zach Wilson to say that, go back into the locker room and just think we're just gonna brush that off. No, the Jets team. If I was a part of the Jets and the defense that have been playing absolutely substantial football this entire season, and for a quarterback to come out and say that it wasn't on me, I could have done, or I did everything I could. We did great. No, man. Mike White stepping up, winning last week's game. Is that correct? I believe so. Mm-hmm. And then coming into this game, Buffalo just scored, but coming into this game and and keeping it a close game. I mean, there's only been 3 scores in a matter of almost 45 minutes.
Yeah, all these games right now, Ravens actually holding up pretty well without Lamar Jackson. Bengals are holding up as is expected. But
Bengals have been playing pretty dang solid.
Yeah, Bengals got some guys back, and then Mixon's back finally. So their offense was going off against the Chiefs.
Yeah, coming off that win against the Chiefs have been pretty dang solid, especially Jamar Chase.
They're looking like the favorites again.
Yeah, they're looking like the favorites. They're already talking on NFL Talk that the Bengals are a shoo-in for AFC Championship already.
And I would say if the Bills don't come out on this game, so it's been very evident that the Bills losing their 2 starting secondary guys on defense really kind of shook up their whole season a little bit. I mean, their record doesn't really show, but defensively, it has shown that the Bills have a hard time keeping the score down now.
Yeah.
They really struggle with keeping the score down. They had one of the top defenses, and not to mention they lost two defensive backs, and then on top of that, they just lost Von Miller for the rest of the year, including playoffs. He tore his ACL. He had to get surgery.
That's a huge loss.
And the Bills right now, without Von Miller, without their 2 defensive backs even being not going to be able to be back either going into the playoffs, it's going to be a rough go for them, I think, come playoff time. It's really unfortunate because Josh Allen is literally there every step of the way, but it feels like everyone around him just falls into pieces. And what shocks me is the Bills got all these injuries, and you would think they would want to add a guy like OBJ to kind of get that.
I'm sure they're in the talks, but I think since visiting the Dallas organization.
Yeah, Dallas really kind of just made OBJ look like he was an absolute worthless pickup after that comment.
Well, OBJ, I mean, he's not fully 100%, at least so they think.
Well, he said, why would I want to play the last 2 games of the regular season instead of preparing for playoffs and learning a playbook or something? You know, he was like, I'd rather prepare for a playoff run than to play the last 2 to 3 games of the season, because he's like, I won't be able to play the first week I'm there.
Yeah.
He's got to clear everything, and the teams are worried now that he might sign and not get cleared to play until possibly the championship game, when they would much rather have him ready to go round 1.
And I mean, I think honestly, Cowboys, they have all of the pieces. They just need a good scheme. You can't go 3 and out. You can't let
I don't know what's going
happen.
on this game. Haven't been able to get our eyes on it a whole lot.
No.
Been kind of busy. But it's kind of shocking to see them. Now, I know Texans have been in a tornado of who's playing, who's not. They're 1-10-1. Like, they're not. I don't even know. 1-10-1.
1-10-1.
And it is kind of shocking that they're putting 10 points up a quarter right now.
Well, Dameon Pierce got his.
Yeah, and they put Davis Mills. They brought Davis Mills back into the lineup. They didn't play him for a couple weeks due to no success happening. But then here they are against a top 5 team, and they're making this top 5 team really struggle, like really bad.
Right, but the biggest thing is you can't count out always the 1-10-1 teams, because they're going to come out and play their heart out.
Because the Texans, I mean, if Davis Mills is making those connections, I don't know what's going on with the defensive Cowboys, but like Brandon Cooks is still that guy, and I imagine his numbers are sitting pretty decently.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is Dameon Pierce, being able to run the ball.
Surprisingly not. All right. Yeah, I mean, Texans I think they're catching a late second half wind this season right now, and it's a little late because, I mean, they're already eliminated. I don't even know why they're competing this hard.
I mean,
I wouldn't even start Davis Mills. I wouldn't start any starters that you got. You're already eliminated.
Yeah.
We're evaluating I would say evaluate the starters at this. I mean the second and your third string guys at the rest of the way.
Yeah. But I mean, the biggest thing is with Cowboys and Texans. I mean, this is a must-win for Cowboys. We have to keep winning out to make sure that the Cowboys set themselves up for success in the wild card spot. The Eagles does not look like they're going to be holding up. Everyone's already talking Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, the best QB wide receiver duo this season.
Yeah, the Eagles are kind of walking all over the Giants currently. Giants scored again, but the Eagles are just keeping that 2-score lead.
Yeah, Eagles, everything, I mean, they're firing off on all cylinders. Everything is working for the Eagles right now. It's pretty insane to watch. I mean, just such a dominant offensive game. It's pretty crazy to see that. For the same thing with Jaguars. They're showing up and
fortunately, I think they caught their win way too late as well.
Yeah, they're walking away with the Titans right now. I mean, it's tough to see these matchups just walk away from teams that could be putting up a fight, and that goes back to the same thing with Texans and the Cowboys. Texans just made a huge throw. Their 1st and 10 on Houston 40. They were just on Houston's 2nd. So it's pretty crazy to see the matchups. And honestly, this NFL season, every single week, it seems like
it's been a shocker.
It's been a shocker. If we talk back to AFC West with the Broncos, the Raiders.
I think the only 2 teams I haven't seen be totally what just happened is the Bengals games and the Chiefs games have been pretty correct, in my opinion.
I mean, obviously, we've all thought Bengals and Chiefs are going to come out hot. Same way with last year. Same thing with Bills. None of that was surprising. I think the biggest surprise so far this season is the AFC West when it comes to Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers.
Yeah, I think they really wanted to count the Raiders in and be a top 5 team, and they're
with all the pickups and everything like that, you just imagine it would happen.
Well, and then right before the season, they cut 2 offensive linemen. They cut Abrams off the team. They made all these cuts, and guys weren't performing. And Derek Carr is having possibly one of his worst years. He's literally losing his mind on the podium and stuff.
It's pretty insane. I mean, he's definitely getting emotional on the podium.
Questionable coaching decisions, stuff like that. And now we're at a point now where Chiefs play the Broncos. It's the AFC West showdown. But, I mean, the Broncos are literally on the brink of being eliminated, I think, today.
Yeah, I don't want to count out the Broncos. I mean, I don't
really good defense, but absolutely terrible offense. I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to be wake up. I'm on a football field today. I got to actually throw the ball and not get...
Yeah, the Broncos need to figure something out offensively when it comes to, just Russell Wilson. It's... what is happening? And they're playing against a dominant team with the Chiefs. And once the Chiefs get ahead, Broncos without...
they're going to score.
Yeah. Now, with the Broncos, they do have that stellar defense to hold pat, and as long as they get in the backfield...
It'll probably be more 24-7. The Broncos are going to be their typical 1 score a game.
Yeah.
Maybe a field goal. But I think it's going to be a 2-score deficit for them probably the whole way through.
It's going to be an interesting game to see, just because when is Russell Wilson going to fire off on all cylinders? When is that going to happen? I still believe it will happen.
That offense, they hyped up that team like they're going to be a top 5 offense.
I mean,
and that
the whole
offensive
entire
line,
AFC West was hyped up.
I think the offensive line for the Broncos was a little overly examined, and I think that is their failing point. Is the offensive line is one of the worst.
Yeah.
That I think the NFL has seen, and you're talking about Russell Wilson being ranked as the worst QB as well, numbers wise, for the season, and it just doesn't make any sense with the amount of success that he's had for so long.
Did you know he has more bathrooms in his home than he has touchdowns this year?
That's embarrassing because it's not a whole lot.
Yeah. So, with that being said, moving on from Chiefs and Broncos, Seahawks and Panthers. This is a must-win for Seattle to maintain the race for first in their division. Panthers, waving off Baker Mayfield, that's pretty big. For the Panthers to just wipe their hands,
crazy, right,
be done.
For the longest, for a couple months there, they were like, Baker's going to go to Seattle. And Seattle kept coming out and saying, no, Geno's going to play. And Geno had not the greatest of resumes.
Yeah, for Geno to come out and actually succeed the way that he's... he is succeeding. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, everyone is succeeding in Seattle, and it's pretty awesome
to see.
They're
succeeding, but they're always coming from behind.
Yes.
Literally every game.
They do oftentimes get ahead, and sometimes they do dominate. Now, the teams that they have dominated, they played against the Niners.
And they got annihilated.
They did get annihilated. Now, with that being said, I think there's still one more showdown between Seattle.
It's next week.
I
want to say it's next week, Thursday Night Football. Niners have I wouldn't say no quarterback, but so far our backup has shown some shining light.
Yeah.
We beat Miami with him. So the Niners' hopes are not out the window.
Y'all are on a 5-game win streak. Y'all have Purdy. My man Purdy in.
And so, they were saying, the thing is Purdy got selected late off of his size and strength, which, I feel like there's other quarterbacks that are very successful right now in the league. For example, not successful this year, but Russell Wilson was very criticized for his size. Drew Brees was very criticized for his size and strength and speed. And Brock Purdy's kind of in that same boat. But Brock Purdy...
Cool name. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy.
They call him BCB.
BCB. My man is coming into this game.
Big Cock Brock.
My man is coming into this game 22 years old. You got Thomas.
And then our starting
Brady.
left tackle came out and said that you would think Brock Purdy has been in the league for 15 years with the way that he yells at everybody.
Yeah, but this man is going against Thomas Brady, who's in his 23rd NFL season.
Who doesn't have his blind side.
But Thomas Brady, 23 seasons. That man has been playing
football.
He's
been playing football longer than this dude's been alive.
Yeah. I just want to know.
And he's coming off a huge comeback win.
At the end of this game, what is it going to be? It's like a dad. Just y'all both just run up
old
at
enough
the
to
NFL.
Be his dad.
And Brock's like, hey, man, good game. And just Tom's like,
good game, son.
Good game, son. Good game, kid. Okay. Just I feel like I would get everything off my chest if I was Brock. Hey, Tom, you've been playing longer than I've even fucking lived. My man, this is so insane to be in front of you. Are you still going to be playing?
Can we play each other again?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's actually really insane to really think about. Tom Brady has played 23 NFL seasons. Brock is 22 years old.
Yep.
Man. Now, with that being said, moving on, this is a big game for Niners. Bosa's in. Tom Brady. The Bucs need to figure out something quick, very, very quickly. You look at the NFC.
Bosa's sitting right
But not only
there.
that, but you look at the NFC East standings, and you see the NFC East just maintaining amazing stats, amazing leads, and you go to the other NFC standings.
No, I do want to mention this for the Niners. Nick Bosa was very limited all week due to stuff lingering, hamstring wise. But they said that it wasn't major, it wasn't significant, it was just being on the safe side. They almost considered not even letting Bosa play just because we play the Seahawks next week. And they want to be able to sweep the division.
Yeah.
And just keep that 1 seed in the division, which is understandable. But I feel like if the Seahawks lose this game that they're about to play, changes the ball game completely.
No, it does. This is going to be an interesting game for the Bucs and for the Niners. The Buccaneers are sitting at 500. They are 6-6.
Right there.
Now, Tom Brady could be his very first NFL season to have a losing record. Absolutely insane.
If they're gone this far and they've competed to stay at 500, I really don't see him going 500 or below.
They're
getting some guys back as the season is coming towards an end. Yeah. So, honestly, obviously the Bucs surprisingly are the favorites in this game. And I think they're really just doubting the fact that the Niners aren't missing any pieces other than Jimmy.
Jimmy J.
Other than Jimmy, they're not missing anything. They still have McCaffrey. They still have Debo. They still have Juwan Jennings. They still have Brandon Ayuk. They still have Trent Williams out there. They still the list goes on. Elijah Mitchell. So the issue the Niners are running into is they have 2 IR designations left in the season to bring players back. So they can't put Jimmy and they can't put Elijah Mitchell on the IR because they won't be able to bring them back. So they can't take them off the 53-man roster. So they have to decide. Javon Kinlaw was supposed to be this amazing guy that is supposed to come off IR. They may or may not even keep him on the team because this guy's been injured from the day he's been drafted.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, the last game that we want to quickly recap, Dolphins and Chargers. Chargers have a moment to take down the Dolphins that are on a pretty much hot streak. Dolphins have been killing it. Tua, Waddle,
except
Tyreek,
for last week.
Except for last week, but either way, they still have a momentum. They are still in the running in their division.
Well, the Bills are in their way.
They're running away with it, but if the Bills win today, then that's going to be a big setback. But that game's going to be pretty exciting. The Dolphins, Chargers, 2 hot teams. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, and I'm excited for Sunday night.
It's a Sunday night matchup. Who's playing Monday?
Arizona and Pates.
Well, Arizona's pretty much done, I would say.
Bold statement right there.
Well, they're 4-9.
Okay, well.
They're 1 loss away from being done.
Big talk for a Niner fan.
And the Patriots are really fighting.
Wanted to say that.
And the Patriots are really fighting for their spot for the wild card. They're obviously shooting for the wild card. They know they're not going to beat the Bills or the Dolphins out of that. They already have too many losses on there. I think they're 6-6 or 6-5. Well, either way, neither of those teams have that record. The Dolphins are right behind the Bills. Bills are holding a game lead already. They win today and the Dolphins lose tonight. It gives them a 2-game lead, and then it really just leaves the Bills. Once you hit 10 wins, I feel like you're on cruise control.
Right.
Till postseason. The goal for all these teams is they want to just get to the number 10.
Yeah.
Once they know they got 10 wins, you're in.
Yeah.
You're 9-8. You might, if you're lucky, if you're in the Bucs division, you could probably go 9-8.
Well, yeah, the Bucs division, yeah.
But other than that division, there's really no room to not get 10 wins.
Yeah.
And moving on from the NFL, I would say it is time to move on to some baseball. Because we've had a lot of baseball coming. Just stay tuned.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MLB segment, and we are rolling. So, a lot of signings that happened. I didn't cover some last week. I forgot a couple. There were so many last week. There's even more this week. Aaron Judge is finally set in stone. 9-year deal, $360 million.
My Giants, Weaveroo right there.
Yeah, Giants really dropped the ball on that one.
I never thought he was going to sign with the Giants. We were actually messaging back and forth on where Aaron Judge could go, where he would end up, and
it was a two-leg race.
Yeah, but I mean, as I mentioned to Tyler, we were just texting about it, and I let him know just straight up. I don't think Aaron Judge will want to go to San Francisco. I don't think the Giants will ever sign him.
No, and that's the issue they've ran into with Corey Seager. They ran into that with him. They ran into it with Trey Turner. They ran into it with Aaron Judge. I think the Giants are getting a wake-up call with they're holding on to too many pieces.
Yeah. Now, I mean, with that being said, I mean, there's been plenty of teams that have really pushed, much like the Mets. Mets have really pushed.
Correa's still out there.
I believe Dansby Swanson is still out there as well.
Then we really dropped the bag on Bogarts because they said they were really pushing for Bogarts.
Bogarts was a big one.
Bogarts went to the Padres. Padres are saying that he's going to play shortstop. They had a press conference asking him, what position are you going to play for the Padres? And he says, I'm a shortstop and shortstop only. So that just threw Fernando Tatis right out the window. And they did a projected lineup, and they have Tatis playing right field, which the dude has an absolute cannon, but I've yet to see him play outfield.
I feel like Tatis, I mean, at this rate, in last season,
he's more of an offensive weapon.
You weren't there last season, my man.
So they he's starting, I think, they're starting to think that he's never going to be available.
That's what's tough, man. It's tough whenever you're young and you're such a stud.
He went from injured and then came out that he ended up taking roids, tried to play it off, did not work out, got a humongous suspension. The Padres went so deep into the playoffs that the suspension was being served during the playoff race that if they would have took it to the World Series, he would have been. He actually had an opportunity to actually come back in the postseason because he served so much of his time because they went so deep into the playoffs, and so he's due after the first week of the season. As of right now, he'll be back for pretty much the whole season for the Padres, which I would say the Padres should be excited for that because I mean you just added Bogarts, that hole in your lineup, and you're stacked from top to bottom. They did lose Josh Bell, though.
They did lose Josh Bell,
and
but
they didn't sign anybody.
That's tough. It's tough. Padres, there's some changes happening, but I mean, you never know. You never know what's going to happen with the new team. As spring training comes a rolling, you never know who's going to be the next Josh Bell, who's going to step up. Maybe they already have it. Maybe they're not even worried about it. Same thing with the Mets losing DeGrom. Texas Rangers with a huge pickup with DeGrom.
Yeah, that one was a bit of a shock.
Yeah, starting rotation is pretty absolutely insane for the Rangers with Martin Perez coming back.
And then you guys have you guys signed him last year. What's his name?
Which one?
The infielder.
Seager?
Yeah, Corey Seager.
Yeah.
Went there. You got DeGrom there. They made some trades last season.
No, the Rangers are looking pretty dang solid. They actually look like a team that's going to give Houston a run for their money.
And then I want to say the catcher just got signed.
There was the catcher that came over through some trades. I mean, there's quite a bit of movements that are happening with the Rangers organization, which is really exciting. A team that has yet to really do anything, and we live here, is Kansas City. Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, they haven't done anything.
They're literally been MIA. Same thing, honestly, with Tampa Bay.
And you would think they tanked, right? So they got their draft picks. Draft just happened. And you would think that KC would be making some noise finally.
KC should. And what's so upsetting is that Bobby Witt, one of the best, honestly, rookies last year, prospects.
Yeah, he did fine.
And, he was solid. He definitely batted way more than any other prospect. Another prospect that really
and now they have to keep
me,
him in the lineup because of that.
Yeah, prospect that really surprised me last season was Baltimore. Baltimore calling up Adley Rutschman, playing as catcher.
What? They've been really quiet too.
Yeah, Baltimore has been pretty quiet, but honestly, Baltimore hasn't lost anybody. Baltimore turned it around.
Yeah, they were doing very well.
Honestly, they haven't been trading. You look at the organizations on what everyone is doing right now. Everyone is honestly pretty damn quiet that have made it almost last in their division. Oakland, Kansas City, Detroit, Cincinnati.
Rockies didn't do anything.
Rockies did not do anything, but either way, they just picked. They got Trevor Story last year, so.
Rockies, no.
Who did they pick up?
They picked up Chris Bryant. Trevor Story left and went to the Red Sox.
That's right. That's where I got.
They had Trevor Story, and then they let him go.
Chris Bryant, that man.
Yeah, Chris Bryant, he did. So that was what's funny about the Chris Bryant situation is they signed him to a huge deal, and unfortunately, he went the money route, even though other teams offered him basically similar.
No,
deal.
They didn't offer him similar. Rockies went in.
They went in, and unfortunately, that's all they did.
No, yeah.
And Rockies, he was the only player to actually maybe play baseball last year because the rest of them were asleep because he batted over 300. I want to say he had over 30 dingers. It was a very quiet, excellent season for him because they didn't talk about him at all.
There was nothing to talk about with the Rockies organization. No
but
offense,
yeah, he
Colorado,
would go up to bat, and it would just be like he's an automatic.
What one thing that Colorado did do that they weren't quiet about, that City Connect. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
And what's also wild is Chris Bryant used to be public figure for the Cubs even when they sucked.
He still is a public figure though.
But he went from I feel like he just lost all of the attention going there. He's doing better than maybe actually what he was doing in Chicago.
Possibly.
And it's actually kind of wild that he's not getting the recognition.
What's crazy is that Chicago is kind of, you think of Chicago 6 years ago, and 6 years ago Chicago was always in a running. You never know what they were going to do, and then now they're just tanked.
Quiet, but now they're getting that attention. I don't know if it's because of the big city thing that they're just getting all that
that
attention, but they just made Cody Bellinger one of the highest paid guys, and they gave him a 1-year deal.
Well, for 1 year.
$19 million for 1 year.
Yeah, for 1 year. They're hoping Cody Bellinger, but Chicago, a big team like that, they have that.
Yeah, so they signed Bellinger, which honestly,
by the way, I wish
could turn it around.
No, he can't. I'm sorry. I've never believed in Bellinger. I don't care, comments come at me. Much like my comments about Stafford, Matthew, Cody Bellinger I'm sorry, but you put any minor leaguer, go up into the majors, he's going to hit more than a 150 batting average.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to hit more than 200 batting average.
And
Bellinger, for him to go up and barely hit 200 and barely hit 150 throughout the season is absolutely mediocre for you to get paid as much money as you're doing, and as well as the team that you were set up on with the Dodgers.
Gave up on you.
And you can't hit a damn curve. You can't hit the breaking ball. Get out of here. Absolutely. It's a hot take. All right. Cody Bellinger, I'm sorry. You are absolutely garbage. I don't care.
So, Bellinger got signed.
Sorry, that was a heated.
Some other signings. Not Niners. Giants signed that guy, Haniger.
I'm sorry, we were just going so soft now.
They signed that guy to a 3-year deal, power hitter for the outfield, but they still have a big missing hole at first base.
He's always injured though.
Yeah, I told you this. I hated the signing.
Giants,
I don't like it. They love their injured guys.
Let's put a scenario out here. Giants are that old. You know what? We're still living in the olden age. Let's just keep these guys. They're going to make it. Give them some tobacco. Give them some seeds. And damn straight, put some rally caps on. Okay? Because Giants are going all the way. And then you got the damn Dodgers that's just buying their way to divisional wins every single time.
And choking every single
but
year.
You have the Giants that are almost there. You have the Padres, Dodgers, Giants. Giants are just over here like, hey, we are a big city team with money. Then you look over at the Padres. Then you look over at LA. We're not even going to mention Arizona and Colorado. But either way, those three teams, you just see Giants over here like, hey,
floating
San Diego,
in third forever.
Yeah, San Diego, LA. Good signs. Good signs. They didn't come with us, but good signs.
You know what's crazy? It used to be the other way around. It used to be
we're going to take your leftovers from Jock Peterson. Okay?
Yeah. And you know what? We signed Jock again. And I'm actually that was probably their best signing that they did
he was already there, man.
No, he was free agent.
I know, he was free agent, but he was already there.
Yeah, he was already there.
He was happy there.
And, you know, he had an all-star season. And it was actually pretty awesome.
No one was there with him. Okay,
you shut your mouth.
Who did y'all have with Jock Peterson?
So now the only big name. I mean, besides Crawford's old ass.
That's what I'm saying. You just give Crawford
and
some
Longoria
tobacco.
had maybe one of his best old day careers out there.
That's the thing. You need a Bogarts. You need.
Oh, we need it all.
I mean, put them in the pinstripe uniform, man.
What's wild, right, is the Giants are stuck in a sticky situation where they know Rodon is leaving.
And, he's gone.
Yeah,
he's done.
And the Yankees. So there's two big names left on the market. I would say Carlos Rodon. He came off a Cy Young year. He lost it barely. And I think
Verlander needed that. Though.
Yeah, but Verlander's American League.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Anyways, National League.
NFC?
I want to say NFC.
Or fuck, Jesus, and a National.
National
I'm
League.
still on the Stafford.
I want to say DeGrom. No. Yeah,
no,
he was National League.
No, he didn't. He barely played.
I can't remember. I can't remember who got it. Anyways, big names are still out there. Look at it. Oh, there we go. Sandy Alcantara, like total freaking, kind of just like gave it to somebody because no one really did. Clayton Kershaw came back to the Dodgers again.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Carlos Rodon.
All
right. Anyways,
you're naming all these signings.
All right.
With Dodgers.
Carlos Rodon. He's no longer a Giant. Free agent. So
he's going to the Mets.
No. Yankees apparently have the highest bid, and they're trying to finalize the deal.
I think Carlos wants to shave that.
I mean, freaking, what's his face did? Garrett Cole did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyways, so Carlos Rodon, more than likely going to the Yankees because the Mets already signed Verlander.
That was a huge pickup. That's
insane. That's another thing. I said, why can't we pick up a vet on a 2-year deal?
Verlander would have been
and
good.
Like an established vet.
I could see Verlander going to the Giants. I could see that.
And what's crazy, we didn't dabble in it at all. And the contract was not huge. It wasn't massive.
Verlander is
2-year
like 38
deal.
years old.
Yeah, a 2-year deal.
Isn't he?
Yeah, 2-year deal. I was like, we couldn't dabble into a 2-year deal. Verlander. But we dabble into a dude that's been injured half his career and gave him a 3-year deal. The Giants make 0 cents this offseason. Anyways, they have a chance to get Correa, and if Correa goes to somebody else, I'm gonna just say the whole offseason was an absolute flop.
I mean, don't discredit Dansby Swanson though.
No, but I don't think we're gonna get him either because if they don't get Correa, then they're definitely
Atlanta's gonna go back after Dansby.
I think that's why there's no talks on him is because.
Well, I mean, the last 2 pickups that are open right now is Correa.
Now
and
the
Dansby.
only thing that would
Correa has openly admitted, "Hey, man, I'm not going back to Minnesota."
Now the only thing that would make sense to me is if the Giants don't sign anybody, they must have some form of trade coming. They have to because Belt's gone. They don't have a center fielder. They don't have a shortstop for the foreseeable future.
The big thing is there's no offer that you can make right now. It doesn't.
They have all these open spots and they have the most cap.
It doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. The Giants are like this old school team that's like
they're gonna have all this cash flow.
Hold our guys to to the end.
So they're waiting.
You guys are like Major League.
Belt's already gone.
You seen that movie?
Yes.
Belt's
already gone. Crawford's pretty much done. He's going to probably play DH or some shit. He's not going to freaking play in the field anymore. Because they plan on putting somebody there.
Oh, by the way, Rangers did sign the old San Francisco coach. Pretty excited about that.
Who?
I can't remember his name right now.
I don't know either.
I mean, anyways, he won championships.
Bruce Bochy?
I think so.
They didn't sign Bruce Bochy.
Don't you dare lie to me.
No, Bruce Bochy's just the manager of the baseball, the friend. Fuck! When did they do that?
They do that this offseason, man.
I don't remember this at all.
Bruce Bochy.
When did this happen?
A 3-time World Series champ was announced the new team's manager.
That happened at the end of October? How did I not see that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big deal.
Yeah, DeGrom over here just...
See, Bochy freaking played San Francisco. He didn't like...
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't like the new GM,
San
and he left.
Francisco's like this major league team that's like this... The movie Major League.
So what's crazy, right? The way Bochy left was...
You just looked at me like, what are you talking about? They signed Bochy?
So, Bruce Bochy left and said, I'm retired. And then in the offseason...
he wants to come back, win a champ with...
No, what's messed up is I don't think he retired. I think he didn't get along with the front office.
I mean, so far the front office is San Fran just looking like...
Dog shit. Absolute dog shit.
There. Yeah, but Bruce is coming over here to bank a ship.
And Bruce, I'm telling you, he's motivating them to make those moves that you guys have made.
Yeah, DeGrom is here. That's probably the biggest pickup for the
Then
Rangers.
I think players are gravitating towards him because you guys have a 3-time world champ head coach that has literally done it all three different times.
And we got Seager.
Yeah, you guys got in the
DeGrom,
lineup. You guys' offense
Perez.
is young. And I just feel like it's just gotten to a point where I think players... I'm surprised Jock even signed where he's with us. There's something in the works
That's
there.
because he's playing, man. He went to the Dodgers, and there's so many other better talent.
Well, he won a ring with Atlanta.
I know, but either way.
And Atlanta actually offered for him to stay.
I don't know. Jock right now is just chasing the dollars. But regardless of the fact... This year's offseason with MLB is pretty. So
grade
tasty.
I want to give 3 teams. Grade the Mets. Grade the Yankees. Actually, we'll do 4 teams. Grade the Mets, Yankees, Rangers, and Giants offseason.
Giants is an F.
Okay, I agree. It is an absolute dumpster fire.
I will say Rangers. I would say B+.
I was going to say that as well.
I would say B+ on the Rangers.
Yankees, I would give a C.
Yankees, I would say a B, just because they got their. I think
they gave Judge too many years.
You needed that. You needed that for them to break the American.
I give
League,
them a C.
American League home run record.
I think they should have. So far, I mean, they don't have a closer, and they don't have. Their starting rotation is looking a little shaky.
Yeah, but it's still beginning. Now, Mets, I do give them an A because of, I mean, they're just signing. I mean, they dropped DeGrom, but they came back hot with signing Verlander, signing the guy from Japan, Senga. It's pretty solid that what the Mets are doing. Dodgers is another, I want to say C. I'm glad they got rid of Bellinger.
Dodgers haven't done anything.
Dodgers haven't done anything at all, but no, honestly, that would be the grades that I would give the teams. Honestly, in the MLB, there's just so much that have yet to be done. There's still Correa up. There's still Dansby Swanson up. There's still quite a you mentioned Rodon. Out there. There's quite a bit.
Those are like the big 3 right now.
Yeah. Now, I mean, Correa, wherever he's going to end up, I mean, the Dodgers were already in talks, but they don't feel like they should bring on somebody that has that much baggage when it comes to the scandalous in 2017. So
I think people got to remember that it's half a decade ago already.
Yeah, but either way, for an organization like the Dodgers to feel so strongly about, and you got to remember the Dodgers were going that deep around that time as well.
Yeah, and then right after that, they got their Mickey Mouse ring.
Yeah, so, but with that being said, anything else we want to cover with MLB?
I mean,
a couple heated arguments that we wrapped up there, but
let's see. I just want to see if there's anything else to really touch on.
There's something, while you think of that, I do want to kind of just go through. So we have a logo in mind.
You know what? Yeah, we could talk about this.
Yeah. We have a logo in mind on what we plan on doing. There's a couple pieces. We had a couple hiccups, but there's a couple pieces that we're looking at right now in this moment on if we're going to pull this trigger. And if we pull this trigger, it's going to be really quick and it's going to come super fast. So that's something to keep an eye out on our social medias for, because once we pull it, it is coming in hot. Okay?
Yeah, we were really banking on something working out. It may still work out, but we're kind of venturing off right now to try something different. And we really hope that the other option still works out.
Yes.
But we have reached a point, I would say business-wise, because that's what we're really trying to start here. We're really trying to get the ball rolling. I would say by the new year, January, we will really have it set up for everybody.
It'll be more dialed in. You guys will actually have it more crisp. And, I mean, another reason why it's taken so long, it's out of our control, but we want this to be absolutely perfect. And I will say like this, it's not easy to release things like this.
And I think we've came to a business decision that we really have to, we were relying on, some third-party help to really get us some cool product. But it's taking a lot of time, and we've figured out something else. We also want to bring up that we're going to set up a Patreon. Also many other probably other resources for you guys to help us out. We're gonna have other platforms for exclusive content only. We're not going to say the price point quite yet, but it is going to be a paid subscription to keep tuning in to us. It'll be the proceeds go to us, and me and him will promise the proceeds that we do get will be put into the content that we give you guys. So products, the video content, audio content, stuff like that. It'll all go towards the podcast only. It will not be used for personal use. It'll be for use of the podcast only. It will not be, none of the money will come to us, but we will not be using any of the money that you donate for our personal needs or wants.
Yeah, everything's going to go towards this awesome platform that we have called Let's Argue. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting stuff to kind of go move forward. I mean, this opens up the possibility, if you guys choose to support us in our future endeavors with Let's Argue, because this opens up platforms where we can go to certain situations, whether that be in the off season, we get to go to spring training. In the off season, we get to go to, football practice when it comes to NFL teams. I mean, there's so many possibilities that we can get to go and actually show face in some of these public organizations and, see. But with that being said, it's been fun. The end of the year is closing soon, and there's so much more to offer in 2023.
Yes, and before we end everything, everybody, you guys already know what to do when it comes to subscribing, liking, comment, sharing, all of that. But I do want to mention this. Next week will definitely be our final episode for the season, because we are going into the holidays right after next weekend.
Holidays.
And we don't want to be trying to cram recording. I believe we also kind of work hand in hand on another podcast a little bit, equipment wise and stuff like that. Unearthly Encounters, I believe, will be wrapping up theirs.
Yeah, it'll be wrapping up very, very soon, just to finish out the new year and just to finish out Christmas. I mean,
yeah, and we just don't
spend time with family.
Yeah, we want to let our friends kind of just have their time with family and friends and enjoy the holidays. So next week will be the final episode for both. I would just like to give them a shout out because we've been able to work hand in hand together on quite a few things, equipment, stuff like that. There's multiple people involved. It's not just me and Eddie. We got quite a bit of a team going with
this good support system.
Yeah, we have a pretty good support system when it comes to getting this stuff set up. As you guys all know, equipment will be changing also after the new year. Been really focusing on just Christmas and New Year's right now, so equipment's not really going to change at the moment. Yeah. But we are, as you can see, bits and pieces are coming along. Stuff's looking different. Stuff is sounding different. We're getting better with not necessarily pushing it out on the days that we would wish to, but sometimes things happen. Hopefully we can keep next week, but for sure next week will be, whether it's solo or not, will be the final episode for the season, and then after that we'll be rolling into season 6 come January. Come January is when we're going to be start talking about playoffs for football and playoffs for basketball as well.
Exciting stuff.
All right, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. As always, one love.